everyone.
Ralph's glasses are very. Oh, they're now perfectly straight. So
Now they're straight. They were crooked.
They're the original one-legged glasses, and look, now they're even more practical because you can do it like this. Then you have to put it back. I don't know
You
why
buy
it's
new
more
ones?
practical because I don't have a use case for it yet. But
But
fuck it.
I
people-
thought they really died. I thought like a
Yeah,
few
they
weeks ago.
are. Yeah, for most people they're already dead. But yeah, it's me, man, the
people
most
only
economical
listening,
guy
Ralph,
ever.
to people only listening, Ralph has glasses with one leg missing. You call that a leg in English?
Yeah.
Boat.
One thing missing, and the other one he can click off. So it's actually a cool gadget.
I don't even click it off. It's just like this little piece that goes into the plastic. You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then you put it in and it barely
it
it's
barely
just
holds.
hanging on. You know the meme of this guy who has like a Louis Vuitton or Gucci backpack and it's just knotted together and barely hanging on?
Nope.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Not my funnel.
I forgot you two are big ass boomers. Well, everybody Gen Z like me knows.
Hey
Exactly.
Jay, some people say your volume is a bit lower than the others.
Okay, well I can turn it up, but I see here I'm reaching the yellow.
Yeah, exactly. Same. I can hear you properly, but
I turned it up a bit.
turn up the bass.
And now.
Hey. Is that Moomba?
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah. That was a hit record, man.
I should be all good now.
Okay,
but,
perfect. Let's just keep it like that.
Afrojack remix.
No, it was like the original one from Afrojack, right? Moomba. Afrojack.
Isn't it a
Moom-
Chucky record with an Afrojack
Oh,
remix?
wait, yeah, there you go. It's an Afrojack remix from Silvio, Ekoma, and Chucky. Yeah. Know your facts, man. Know your facts. Holy
Hey,
shit.
I live that shit, man. I live that shit.
I breathe that shit. Hey guys, first of all, to everyone who wasn't aware of it yet, we made an announcement this week, which we're pretty proud of, and that's that Layback Luke has joined us as a coach. Where's the party horn when you need him? Where's the party horn? Where's the party horn? There's no party horn.
Yeah. Oh wait, it's like this. Oh yeah. Fuck me. I was
And then
like
you go
this.
like this.
Oh, hello.
You go like this, or like
It's
this.
like
yeah.
this.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's
still
like-
not okay. Batman.
like,
It's like
fuck.
this.
Okay. Pretty clear that I'm not layback Luke,
Yeah, not a fan.
and I
No,
cannot hide it.
like-
But hey, he is a true legend, and I
Yeah,
think he's a awesome addition to the artist coaching roster. And you may be proud, Joey.
I am proud. I think he's a great addition to the team. I think we've gathered a group of handsome guys who have a lot of knowledge so far. Still looking for a girl though. So if someone has a recommendation of someone who could fit perfect in
I
the
talked
team,
to DJ Mero on Tomorrowland, and
Murrow.
she's cool, awesome, and she's the real deal. But she's still young, so and still finding out
You
stuff
need to
herself.
be a boomer. That's the thing.
Well, with age comes wisdom and
Exactly.
experience. And,
Exactly. That's why you need to be above 30.
no, you don't need to be. You just, I mean,
need to have an old
Martin
soul.
Garrix experienced so much more than I did, and he's 26 or 27.
Old
Hey,
soul. is what
I
you need.
got you
souls.
there.
Old souls. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And to
Lawyered.
everyone checking in the live stream right now, I see Josh Letiche as always, Jamie Strife,
Hey.
what's up? Fran, Judgment is here again, Corey, Melodramatic, welcome everyone. Yeah, good to be back. Let's we have a pretty long list to talk about today, so let's just dive directly into it. There have been some hot discussions in the chat this week. which
Oh,
we
there
should
are?
definitely talk about. Yeah.
I'm curious.
Let's
Yeah, what is this about, Joey? What are you talking about?
well, let's just start with one of the topics that we talked about this week, which is the case of Morten, the DJ. And the question that came on top of our minds was, can touring make you sick?
I don't think touring as such can make you sick. Yeah, maybe if you do like
India,
300 bookings a year, but
food
depends
poisoning.
on what you do next to touring,
And what
and
do you mean
depends
with
on the
next to
person.
touring? Like what you do on touring, or
What do you eat? Hey, what do you drink? We all know how party life can be. And also your own state of mind. Yeah, I think that can. We're all young parents, you know. We've been through. Jobke is getting a kid. We all know what sleep deprivation is.
I
Yeah.
have a 2-year-old,
So
and the second one is
yeah,
well,
it's not a lack of sleep only. I mean,
no?
if you do stuff next to it, or maybe it's the stress that comes with other stuff. I mean, that's also a really stressful period. And all I'm saying, if you end up in a hospital for 5 days or so, I don't think that's only the touring. There must be more to it, and I cannot look into a person's mind
But
or
he is
what
a
yeah. So
healthy
he or
for
guy,
she is
though.
doing.
for
As
context,
He
in,
I
looks
think
healthy. Yeah.
if you don't know this, Morten posted on his Instagram he was taken to the hospital by helicopter in Greece, I think, and had to stay there for 5 days. Um, yeah, and it's not really clear to me if there was an actual cause mentioned by him, but he said it was from touring and being overly exhausted or something like that.
Mm.
So that's the context of this, and then it sparked a talk with us like, hey, is this the touring that does it, or is it everything that comes with the touring, and is it the partying, is it the there's a lot of factors I think that come into to play.
Well, if you think about Marlon, for example, he tours a lot, and
Yep.
I kind of get the feeling he knows how to cope with it. I'm not sure if he does, but I get the feeling that he's
Yeah, he
living a
does.
healthy
And
life.
and to be honest, the Marlon barely cancels a show. He's really fit and he knows his body really good. The thing is, the times it went wrong actually was in summer when he was touring Europe, whereas those touring schedules are really less hard than the ones he had in Asia or the US. But the thing is, when it's summer here, Marlon also likes a drink or two, and that's where it usually goes wrong.
So you
Yeah.
kind of start
And
to slack.
yeah, no. Well, the thing is, if you tour a lot, your body needs rest, and with alcohol in play or anything else that's not so nutritious, yeah, your body just doesn't get enough rest and cannot cope with all the stress of touring.
Mm.
And some people just experience it differently. For me, touring is not a thing. That's why we have the way we work. And yeah, if you have a hard time coping with touring, yeah, then it can be stressful on you. Yeah, but it's
It's
usually
I
yeah,
think it's I think it's a lot different from what people think it is. And I think Ralph's definitely right. If you party a lot, if you drink a lot, you lose yourself. You lose control of yourself, and you're bound to experience like a burnout or. And I don't know the cause for the whole Morton scenario, and I think it's tragic that he's in the hospital, that he was in the hospital. So I'm happy to see that it's he's obviously doing better. He's out of the hospital. But I think for a lot of people, they don't really realize what it is that DJs do. And I don't for a second want anybody to feel sorry for us DJs, because that's, I think, one of the main discussions. I was like, for a normal person, if I would take them on tour with me for one weekend with 3 shows, they would, after the weekend, be like, holy shit, it's way more intense than you think.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean that you should feel sorry for us. And I think that's the thing. Like, there's always a choice as a DJ as well, and this is a very important one, to say no to shows. You can say no to shows if it goes like beyond your health, and I think that's that to have that choice. Yeah, then you shouldn't feel sorry for someone. That's also the choice if someone offers you a shot when you're DJing. Yeah, you have the choice to say no. If you do it and you have a hangover, yeah, I'm not gonna feel sorry for you. It's
It's
your
your
own
own
choice.
decision. Yeah.
And I
So
think
what?
that's the main thing for people with, let's say, normal jobs. A lot of them don't have a choice to do something else, and they need income. And I think on a level of big DJs, there's just, yeah, you don't have to do as many shows, and you don't have to party. But let's mention, it's not that we say this about Morten, because we just don't know the ins and out of his yeah, his life, let's say. So
No,
Yeah.
definitely. You don't know about the mental state or what he's going through in his
Privately.
private life. But landing in a hospital for 5 days is really serious. And
Hmm.
happy it's all over now. And but it's also, yeah, to say it's about the touring alone. I think that's yeah. So yeah, there must be something more going on, and that's something we don't know. And hopefully it's not something serious. And
Yeah.
but it's
True.
all speculation, of course. The thing is with touring. Touring can be very hard, and especially in the summer, you have a more busy schedule than in different times of the year. And also summer, usually, yeah, we all like the nice weather, and we all like to. It's a holiday period, also, and that's the strange things. It's not a holiday period for DJs, but still, you're in that holiday mindset,
Yeah. In the same
and
mood.
sometimes, yeah, you just run into some boundaries of yourself and your physique,
yeah,
and
it's
that can happen, and it's something need to be really aware of and take good care of your body.
it's also sometimes kind of expected. You're there to have a party, you're there to play the music, and then the people kind of expect you to party with them and hang out with them and see the city where you're at. And sometimes you just have to put that boundary for yourself. If you're touring a lot, you just have to say, now I need my sleep. I cannot drink tonight. I cannot visit the city tonight. I just need to catch up on sleep. But that is a thing. You have to be conscious of it, because I also have it sometimes. I arrive to a new city and I'm like, I need sleep, but also I really want to go out and see the city. And you kind of feel
Mm.
this
Yeah.
weird pressure you put on yourself. And that's something you have to, yeah, learn how to deal with. And I think that's why, like, Marlon as well is so good at it. He learned over the last 15, 20 years, learned to know his body, his limits. And that's something you have to really do. You have to be conscious
I
of.
I
Sure.
I got calls in the middle of the night sometimes as well that the tour manager with him, he just had to carry him on the plane. And I remember
Like
this one time.
drunk.
I think it actually was in Greece with you,
Oh,
Jay.
Oh,
dude, that's
And
so
yeah,
difficult.
you all
I
had a pretty
remember
wild
some night
night,
degrees
and
with Marlon.
yeah, and he missed his flight, and we had to book a new one. And what's the credit card? And
You party
yeah,
with Jay.
yeah, it can be
Yeah.
a mess, and it's all we're all human, and we get it, and but yeah, it comes with a cost, and yeah, what I noticed with Marlon, it was more the lifestyle next to the touring that came with the cost than the touring itself, because Marlon, I actually looked it up. At one point, he did 28 shows in August alone. That's a lot,
That's
and
a lot.
yeah. But yeah, Marlon is kind of a beast, and respect to him how he does it.
Yeah, he's a
Melodramatic also.
professional. I
He
think
also
that's also,
mentions.
you
Yeah.
see his Instagram and you see him on nice locations, but I know how it really goes, and that's where you see Marlon is a true professional, because he is there when he needs to be, and he has the content when it
Mhm.
needs to be there.
And also, what
And
do you do in your free days? I mean, if you do three shows a week, you have 4 nights of no shows,
Mm,
in which you can take and must take your rest. But then, when it's summer, it's just hard. Your friends can call you for a barbecue, or if
yeah,
you have your off days on Ibiza, and then I mean, there's a party everywhere. You want to meet, mingle, maybe call it networking. Then, and we all now know how it goes. And sometimes you just, yeah, it
yeah,
goes wrong.
alcohol is also just dangerous, because sometimes you're really over your tiredness. Also, DJing, I'll explain this later, but alcohol can, that first drink with like a Red Bull vodka or something, you can really feel like, ooh, I have the energy again, and it's kind of like fake energy, like
Yeah.
borrowed energy from the day
Definitely.
after. But also the whole DJing, you get such a rush. I remember one time flying to LA, which is like 9 hour time difference or something with Holland. So you arrive in the
Hmm.
afternoon, but it's already evening, and then you play at night, so you don't sleep. Mistake. And then you go to the show, and you're just. I remember this one time really being so tired, like in the shower, my body was screaming, "Go to sleep! Don't do this!" And I just like, yeah, of course you just go. As soon as I'm up on the stage, all the energy in the
Yeah.
world. Without
That's it.
alcohol,
That's the
you just
adrenaline.
there's that rush, which is also like it's cool, but also you're kind of pushing yourself beyond your physical limit, which is
It,
fine if you're young and fit. So you need to just be conscious of it. But yeah, it does trick your mind a bit.
it's a surviving mechanism, and you can use it every now and then, but it shouldn't be a regular thing to do. As in,
Yeah,
adrenaline can help you in a lot of situations, but it shouldn't be your standard procedure, you could say.
yeah, yeah,
Melodramatic also says, like, how much of that is a DJ choice versus signing with the devil that pushes you, like Avicii. I think it always comes down to your personal decision. Eventually, you are the one responsible for your own decisions. Um, it's easy to point fingers towards your manager, towards your booker, towards the event promoter, whatever, but you are the one saying yes or no or whatever you do. But eventually, it comes down to you. And
Yeah, but Avicii was so young,
yeah,
and for me, it's kind of hard to say that it was his responsibility. The people around him, but also the promoters. Everybody has uh,
a certain
an,
responsibility.
a
yep,
responsibility when
Yeah,
working with young people, and when there's alcohol in the neighborhood,
yeah.
or anything, or sleep deprivation or whatsoever.
yeah.
And yeah, I think yeah, for me it's not never has been Avicii's responsibility, or
It's difficult
uh,
because I see every time there's an Avicii post, you see a lot of people blaming the greedy management and
Yeah,
whatever. There's another kind of pressure that is way more subtle, is the fact that you have a tour manager who has dedicated his life at that point to your shows. So that means his income is dependent on your shows as well. That fact only is already putting you under a certain pressure, which
yeah,
is kind of the case in Avicii. Like his manager, there's so many people that have their income because of your shows. So then it becomes more difficult to say no. Doesn't mean you can't say no. You can still make that choice. It's just that subtle, like extra pressure, which makes it more difficult. But then again, your health is your main thing. Health. If you don't have your health, then what does all the money in the world
yeah.
mean? Nothing. So
But I do get why it's very hard to say no when you're, especially when you're younger. I think the older you get, the easier it gets to say no. So I do get it, but if you really bring it down to the basics, I would say you are always responsible for your own decisions. But yes, when you're younger, it's just harder, and you're just
it's
more. It's easier to be influenced by other people.
except
Um,
when you're 2 years old, and it's so easy to say no the whole time, the
yeah,
whole day,
no, no,
like my daughter.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
so
but
yeah,
that's
true.
that's also a learning curve for those kids, right? Like it's a tryout for them to see how far they can go and where the boundaries are,
yeah,
and
for sure.
that's just part of growing up of a kid. And I think it's also part of becoming an adult, right? Knowing where your boundaries are, physically, emotionally, mentally. You should figure out where your boundaries are, and that's also with the touring thing, as you mentioned with Marlon. Right now, he just knows better where he needs to stop when he's tired, when he needs to eat healthy, when he needs to sleep. And that's all because of the experience. So you can't really expect a new artist or like an aspiring artist to already know how to deal with those kind of things, because it's a weird environment where you end up in when you're touring. It's
Yeah,
it's
it's
such a
it's it's one
challenging
of those things
environment.
you kind of have to partly have to experience it before you understand. You
Yeah,
have to experience alcohol, and you kind of to get this sounds so dumb, but like to get comfortable with alcohol, you kind of have to this one night drink a beer too many, and then be like, ooh, so that's where my limit
Yeah.
is, which is stupid, but that's kind of how, yeah, like you said, like life works.
Yeah,
It's,
you need to set boundaries. And once you
yeah,
know that 8 beers is okay for you and 10 beers knocks you out, yeah, then you know for
Yeah,
the
but
next
that's
time
also you need to step. Eventually, you're gonna step over your boundary and then
you
know
are.
where it is and what works for you and what doesn't.
But
And
that's what
it's
puberty is
always a learning
about.
process. Huh?
That's what
yeah,
puberty is about. Like just going over the boundaries and figuring out like, okay, how far can I go? Making mistakes, trying stuff like that. That's
Yeah.
why puberty is such a chaotic period in your life. But imagine like being in puberty, so 18 maybe, and then being thrown into a DJ touring life. Like imagine what that does with your brain. It's like throwing an addict into a casino and say like, have fun, like it's crazy what that does to a human.
yeah.
I know. Freedom,
Yeah,
not
freedom is
always a good thing.
yeah, yeah,
It,
it's hard to
yeah,
deal with.
But I mean,
As
yeah, basically, it's when sleep deprivation is gonna be a factor in life. Uh,
mhm.
whether you're gonna be a parent or touring the world or whatever, then you have to be extra cautious, and especially with stuff like alcohol or even worse,
Mm.
drugs or whenever that stuff comes into play. Your body, everybody needs rest, and yeah, take it when you can.
you also need good people around you, and not per se
Definitely.
your team, but also people like your friends, that keep you grounded. I remember when I was just like, um, touring a lot, and then I would like have this cool story about a tour, and then my friends would be like, "Oh, yeah, stop bragging" or something. They would just like, in that sense, also keep me grounded.
Mhm.
And I think that's very important, having supportive family or friends or a girlfriend or, um, yeah. And then in your team you need those kind of people, but they're also dependent on you financially, so you don't always know their true motives.
But
um
you know that that's part of the reason why I started with coaching, because I always
Money.
hated. Yeah, no, that's I always hated the fact that all the people I worked with were financially connected to me, and there was always an incentive to make me do more or make it bigger because they made more, right? And I'm not
Yeah,
saying they always did, but there always is an incentive, you could say. And I always hated that. Was always eating on me in the back of my mind. So one of the things I wanted to get rid of when I started doing coaching is like the percentage stuff, right? Like just pay me a fixed fee, and which is the same for everyone, and that's it. So I don't care if you make 1 million this month or zero. Like you still pay me the same thing, and that helps you to be neutral. And I think, especially as a coach, you need to be neutral. So in my profession, it's definitely a must. But it has been part of the business plan, as in I just never really liked how that worked. I get why it works like that. I just never really liked it.
Yeah, there's his pro and his and
Yeah,
cons, definitely.
yeah.
But
That's why I
yeah, it's
say I
also
get
yeah.
why it's like that. It's just not that I liked how it's been. Um, Talking about traveling, our new coach, Lebeck Luke, posted something last week about how to beat a jet lag. Do you guys have a way to beat a jet lag?
I think
Let's just first say how Luke does it.
yeah, his method is, he stays on his time zone sleep wise, right? So if he always
Yeah,
stays on New York time because that's where he
yeah, where
lives.
he lives. Yeah,
So if he goes to the Philippines, I think that's where he was or something. He wakes up at the time he would wake up in New York, something like that.
yeah.
That's his hack. My hack is, and this works. You don't have a long jet lag, at least. First of all, also if you're away a weekend, it's a way different than when you're away 2 weeks. That really makes a difference in your jet lag. Most important for me is, food. When do you eat? And this is something that if I am away for a weekend, I try to sleep where I can, because you need to get every hour you can usually, because you're just flying from city to city. But the food, I try to only eat the three meals, big meals that I would eat in Holland as well. That way, my body stays way more on that time zone, even because you can't always sleep when you can sleep in Holland. So, but you can eat usually in hotels. You can eat at night. Eating you can always change, but sleeping you just can't always sleep when you're on the plane or. So that's my uh,
Yeah.
yeah, jet lag hack. Just stay on the. Also, sometimes in the plane,
Does it help?
skip the food. For me, it does. Yeah,
Like 100%, or just does it make it a bit easier or
makes it
doable?
easier. Makes it easier. But like
Okay.
sometimes in the plane, you get like, oh, it's 3 a.m. And we get food, and sometimes I skip it because then 6 hours later, there's the breakfast serving right before you land or something, and then in Holland it would be 9 a.m. So then it's like that's a good breakfast time. That works for me as well. Also, good to mention. Maybe I'm type 1 diabetic, so I also really see how switching up my food patterns mess up my whole
Yeah.
blood glucose. Um, but yeah, I also think there's some evidence, although I don't have it or scientific things, that your breakfast really starts your whole digestive system.
Metabolism.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
Okay.
It's
Ralph, any
actually an
tips?
interesting way of looking at it. I think for most people also, if you come back, stay up until the time you need to go to sleep. And if you want to sleep, don't make it longer than maybe half an hour or 20 minutes. And don't go to bed at 7 o'clock. That will be disastrous.
Yeah, so you mean when you get back into your home country,
Yeah.
just go in the rhythm of where you are at that moment?
Yeah, if you land in the morning, yeah, you got to stay up all night. And if that's going to be a hard time for you, yeah, make sure you, if you have the possibility to sleep before you go back. But
Yeah.
you need to take into account that the next day when you get back, you don't go to bed before 10 o'clock at night, for instance.
Yeah.
And you see that going at it. People go for a little nap in the afternoon and they sleep 3 hours. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. You're gonna be awake at 4 o'clock in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
True.
and that's
Very
most
good
common
one,
error.
Ralph. Yeah. That's very
Perfect.
good one. I do think naps are allowed, but like make it
Power
max
naps.
20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Power
hey,
naps.
whenever I went, I always liked to go to Vegas, and whenever we played there, I went along with Marlon. And yeah, you land there. Mostly you leave. You have a night flight. No, you leave in the morning in Holland, and you arrive in the morning in LA. Then you have to fly to Vegas, and you'll arrive there at, let's say, 2, 3, 4 o'clock
Hmm.
in the afternoon. Don't go to bed for like 2 hours. Just make it half an hour max.
Hmm.
You'll be fine. When you wake up, you will feel
Oh
like
man.
shit, but half an hour later, you're
Exactly.
fine. Eat
I
something.
Yeah.
still
And
What
I
is your
still
take? Do you like power naps or not? That's
I have
also.
a complicated relationship with power naps. As in, sometimes I wake up completely energized, and sometimes I wake up, and that was especially on tour when I woke up and I'm like, I felt like shit, and I was like, oh man, I need to go into a club like filled with people who are already 5 levels higher as I am. Like, I
Yeah.
couldn't really cope with that. But sometimes at home, especially since I have kids, every now and then I do like a 15-minute power nap, and it feels great.
yeah,
Yeah. I
sometimes you'll
love.
wake up and you'll be like, oh man, I
Yep.
would die to just sleep. I want to
Yep.
sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know that 15 minutes, 20 minutes later, or
Yeah.
take a shower, just splash some water in your face, and you
You know what's a
know
life
you're
hack?
gonna be fine.
Even sometimes a few hours later, you realize like, hey, but I now have energy again. So it can even last
Yeah.
like 2 hours after your power nap that you realize that helped me.
You
So
know
Yeah,
what has been a life hack for me to kind of get out of that bad feeling? Brushing your teeth.
teeth or teeth,
Teeth. Teeth.
teeth.
Brushing your teeth. Because that
Yeah,
kind
it
of
feels nice.
triggers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that kind of triggers that kind of was a trigger to me to kind of feel refreshed and kind of feel like I'm getting my day started or something. It has been like a trigger to me. So brushing
Ah,
my
that's
teeth
actually
always helps.
also interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, it helps to kind of get into that mindset of, okay, I'm freshening up to get started.
a smart one.
definitely. Yeah, but I
Um,
think if you're gonna be long at a different place, it's actually gonna be easier because yeah, you have a lot of
yeah,
time to, yeah, to
To
prepare
adjust.
for going back. Going away for a weekend is so much harder. And I think also when you start in Amsterdam for weekend one, then go to China, the Philippines, from the Philippines to Australia, then from Australia to LA, New York, back to Amsterdam. That's gonna fuck you up. But
Anyway.
that's also even for Marlon. That maybe happens once a year that you go around the world.
Yeah.
And yeah, then
Yeah.
you're gonna have a
That's a
hard
tough
time.
one.
But that's not common practice, you know. Mostly you're gonna do China for a weekend, and yeah, it's rough. It's a hard, long flight, and then you get back. You do 2 shows, or maybe you do 2 weekends and you do maybe 5 shows.
Yeah.
And yeah, so but we also had some weekends in our career that he had to do like these really tough things.
Yeah.
And yeah, then
Stop
you're gonna have
sports.
a jet lag. You're gonna just be fucked up.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
okay. If you
And that's okay.
recover it of it after when you come back.
Yeah, a lot of
Um,
DJs say that's where you start working, it's all hobby
yeah, it's
and
a
we
job.
work by flying and sleeping less or more complicated.
Yeah. We have a question, actually a lot of questions in the Discord. This one is from Josh Letizier.
Bonjour.
Do you still think there's value in running a monthly radio show? Because you have
Yes.
Inspire Radio and Bassjacker stopped doing theirs.
Yes,
But
it's
do
a
you?
big discussion I have with Marlon. He needs to do it again, and he's going to. There's
What's
big
the value
value
of
in
it?
it. I mean, it's a reason for people to send you promos.
Yep.
And I think in promos, there's the new kids on the block. They invent the cool stuff. So you want to be a pole position for that. And furthermore, it's just cool to have high quality sets of yours that represent your sound and people get acquainted to. I mean, only tracks give you like this fragment of what you stand for as a party experience. And in a set, there's like a better experience. So you could also say, does it need to be a radio set per se? No, it can also be live sets that you do throw out occasionally. But it's actually a big thing on our agenda, and I think it's very important.
And for you, Jay?
Yeah, I am always surprised at it depends why you want to do it, but I think to have your name out there and like Ralph said, have hey, so this is my sound and I'm still here and these are my new songs and this is what I enjoy. That's very important. There's always way more people listening to it than I realize,
Hmm.
especially because it's distributed and like on internet radio or radio worldwide. Like I think I have months where I have like 5 million listeners, which is crazy. But also just that fact of new producers sending you stuff because they want you to play it in a radio show is awesome because you hear new stuff or new talent. And when you then play it, they take out a snippet of your radio show, they post it. They're like, "Hey, I got support by this DJ," which then shows your name again, shows your radio show again to other people. So it's also a way to just like be out there. For
Yeah.
me, it's also when I don't have a lot of shows. Now that my kid is coming, for example, I still keep up to date with music because there's so many other things always to do. So if you have the monthly radio show, you're always gonna keep up to date with new music, which is
Yeah.
just cool. Yeah.
And then a follow-up question for you, Jay, because you have the show at this point. How do you promote a radio show?
Not really that much. I could do better.
What are some ways? What are some ways to promote your radio show?
um, Marketing. You can have a budget. You can have people. You can pay people to like to promote it to radio stations so that you get played. Just like you would with a track. Um, so yeah, that's some ways. But I think that w- playing new songs by new producers or that's also a way of promoting your show and they promote it for you, which is what you
Yeah,
really
I
want.
think I think you could see it as an extra piece of content, an extension of your brand. It's just another piece of content that you put out, and that is capable of reaching a new audience and attract listeners, monthly listeners. Um, I think the consistent part, so doing it every month or every week or whatever you hand on, but if the consistent part is essential in this, like
Yeah.
Yeah,
if
definitely.
people check in every month for a new mix to work out or whatever they use it for, um, I think it mainly services a purpose for your regular for your fan base that you already have at this moment to kind of service them, and it's a nice benefit that some new people might discover you, but it's mainly just to keep people up to date and yeah, service them.
Yeah, and you can always think around the stuff like or a normal radio show because
Yeah,
uh, I, I like how Yellow Claw always did it. They had the mixtapes, and I love Lane 8. He does it in the same way. To be honest, I don't listen to a lot of music of Lane 8. I love Road. It's just a beautiful song, but I know him because I know always like to put on his mixtapes because that's just a sound that I like. Being around in my own garden and having the sweet sounds of Lane 8 is gonna sound like an ad. And no, but it's just also yeah, a cool way to get acquainted to an artist, and it's a form of expressing yourself. But I gotta say, like the 90% of all the radio shows I see, they don't have that much attention as the mixtapes by Yellow Claw or Lane 8 have, and
yeah,
maybe
exactly.
that's a better approach, to be honest, because then it's a little bit more special and personal.
Yeah, I think like maybe doing it quarterly and spending more time on the mix itself, so making it more special. Because I still recall those mixtapes to be pretty sick when it comes to mixing
Hmm.
techniques and stuff. Um, so maybe that's a strategy as well, to just do it less but do it better.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good
Yeah,
strategy
I
as
But
think
well.
then
that's
you're
a good
gonna have
one.
a hard time for the first times because you're gonna put out your mixtape, do all this work for it, and almost nobody listens to the damn
But
thing. And then you
that's
get to
same old,
marketing.
that's
Yeah,
same
it's
old as
same
same
old,
old.
same old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you always have to push
but
through
I
that early start.
but I think that's a good one. And then you should also have a lot of new unreleased music by yourself,
Hmm.
so that it's really like a showcase of like, hey, this is what I can do. Um,
Definitely, yeah, and
yeah,
also because we started actually pretty early with Checking the Bass and recorded it live. Then we also
Great
took
name, by
always
the way.
Checking the Bass Radio. Oh, it was actually Lepe Bass Radio. Whoopsie, we first
I
I
started
know
thought
with
it
Checking
it
the
was
Bass
started with
Radio.
Jack.
chicken
When you guys
chicken
were
the
in the
corn,
basement. When you
chicken
guys were in the
corn man.
basement in Tilburg, it started as Jack in the Bass.
Yeah, first was Checking the Bass
Yeah,
Radio, and then it was Lepe Bass Radio. Lepe Bass Radio was recorded live, and what we also did,
In front of a
it
live
gives you
audience.
you take 5 fragments of the radio show, uh, and it also gives you a piece of content, like cool new tracks, and
I
yeah,
I liked seeing Marlon on that green screen stage you guys had, and then see him dance to new tracks, and you took out some snippets. I thought that was really cool.
yeah,
yeah, me
definitely.
too. But
Bring it
yeah,
back.
hey, you gotta talk to Marlon, and I
Let's
totally agree.
let's
I'm
bring
gonna
Marlon in next time. We'll talk about it.
No, I'll show him this. See, I know I know you listen, Marlon. I know.
Yeah. Hey, that brings me to the next topic. I'm struggling to find the right name here, but I kind of noticed it on TikTok that people use it. People use the name traveling parties. I'm not sure if that's the right title though, but it's kind of like a way to bypass promoters because they throw their own parties on various locations. Could be serious, unique locations, but also like the garage or the truck or whatever you want to do it. But unique locations, they kind of set up their own parties, pretty small, film that and put that out online and build a fan base through that. And I think that's a great way of bypassing promoters, as in like building it yourself
I
and not waiting for promoters to come to you, but you just throwing the party yourself.
I understand the filming part. I hate that that's the main goal. Like you say, I think the party and making that a good party should be the main goal, and then transferring that energy to content. But I think this is how house started, right?
Block parties.
illegal parties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what will always happen. I think like the guys now from Keine Muziek, they're the biggest hype right now um, on TikTok. No, but also their parties. They started their own parties, So it's like they've been doing this for a long time,
Yeah.
and I think that's yeah,
Yeah, there are
that's
more
so good.
examples. I mean, Yellow Claw, I mentioned them
Yeah.
before. They started in Actually, Chris Cross Amsterdam also started with doing their own parties.
Is Yellow
I
Claw
think it's
still
a
active?
who?
Yellow Claw?
Yeah. Oh man, they're doing great stuff and trap sound, And although they have some side projects, but I actually really like that people are throwing their own parties, also recording it. I get it. I mean, it's cool content, but you got to do it right. And sometimes I do see some of the parties, and it just looks so cringy. But some of them, like wow, I want to be at that party. And if executed right, it's a really cool tool. Also shows that you have big balls and dare to throw the parties. I mean, it's not easy.
Hmm.
And I think also gives you great experience being on the other side that normally a promoter is. And yeah, but I like it. It's ballsy. It says, fuck the promoter. I'm going to do it myself.
I
I'm
actually
not going to
saw
wait to be booked.
I actually saw this clip on I think it was TikTok, but that was kind of where I thought like, okay, this is overproduced. As in, there was a guy DJing in his apartment somewhere, with like a nice view, and he invited his friends, like 10 people, maybe 8 or 10 people, but everything was styled. So everyone who was there was wearing beige, as in like beige clothing. The couch was beige. The drawers was beige. Like everything was styled, and I was like, "Nah, this might be a bit too far." Like now it starts to feel off to me. Uh, but I kind of feel like those small little intimate parties.
Look at the latest Fred again
Yeah,
video.
those type of things. Yeah,
Like
the block
it's it's
parties.
even it's
Oh,
even
cute.
almost awkward, and he's just sitting there, and people are just having drinks around him, but it's so real. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yes, Jamie. Busy was part of Yellow Claw, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Um.
What's the question?
Yeah, he was. Somebody asked in the chat if Busy was part of Yellow Claw. He was. Yeah. Somebody's asking, should the live set be 1 hour, or how long should they be?
Yeah, an hour.
In
I would say
Yeah,
1 hour.
an
30
hour
minutes is a bit too
it's
short.
yeah. It depends, if you depends what you make it for. There's some sets where they're online, they're an hour, and I wish they were longer. Um,
Yeah.
If you make a good set, make it 2 hours.
yeah, exactly.
I actually found a set of the Martinez brothers last week of 3 hours in High Ibiza. Man, I enjoyed it. Like 3 hours of like, we talked about Carl Cox last time, like how he kind of manages to build that vibe. I kind of spotted something there with them as well. Just a continuous vibe of tribal and like, I don't know, took me. Yeah, it had me. It's like
Gotcha.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you were
Question.
you were raw dogging this live set for 3 hours. No snacks, no water, just the live set on your screen.
What is it with that trend? I don't get it. Like
I
I'm
love
really,
it, man.
I
It's
guess I'm
so
getting
funny.
too old.
Raw
Like,
dog this flight to Singapore, 18 hours.
why?
It's just a stupid joke, but it's funny.
I don't
Stay
believe it.
hard.
It's
Yeah.
a joke. Everybody's in on it, but that makes it funny.
It's funny. I like it.
Question from Judgment. Yeah, I kind of guess. I guess that this is a question that keeps on coming, but maybe there's a surprising answer. What is over the years? What have you found to be the best way to promote your release?
Oh man.
This is the main thing. This tip, if you hear this tip, your releases are gonna be
You'll
promoted.
blow up.
It's gonna blow your mind.
I think the right
Make the
answer is
track
we don't know, man.
make the track so good that everybody wants to play it.
Yeah.
That's the best promo tool.
Yeah, I don't think there is a specific one. It's all the things combined, and of course the track itself and kind of the timing. It's a lot of things that should fall in place. I would recommend you to always do the maximum amount of things that you can do, and try to use all the opportunities that you have at hand. And that's all you can do. Like you can have the sickest promo email list of DJs that you know, but if the song sucks or if it's just not the right timing or whatever it is, it's still not gonna work. So it's always a combination of all those things. So try to do it all the time. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Comes down to luck.
Ish, as in yes, the timing is part of things, but still
You
you
still
need to
have to
do.
send it, dude.
Yeah,
Like
you
if
still.
Tiesto plays my track, it's very lucky that he opened his email and listened to it. But it's also I still had to send it.
Yeah, and you
It's
still need
kind
to
of
make
like
the track and
That's
like.
it's true, but yeah, it's just hard. I mean, there's so many things. So what are you promoting for? I mean, not every track is a DJ track. Sometimes you have like this release that's more for people to listen to, not to be played. And how are you gonna promote it then? I mean, you only have your own channels to promote it to. You can look to. You have all these pages on YouTube or whatever that bring out new music. Try to collaborate with those and just try to get it out there by any means possible. There's no wrong way to do it. It's just hard. There are 90,000 tracks or so being released on Spotify every week, or 120,000, of which, of course, 90% is just pure crap. And yeah, it's hard to stand out, and you can do it. I mean, basically going around door to door to present your track is also a good way to market.
Did
And
you see how Kanye did it back in the days with his songs? Like
no,
he just went to the label's office and started performing for the receptionist and everyone he could talk to. He started performing for them right in
yeah,
front of them, like
but
super
there's
awkward.
just nothing you can put all your shame aside
Yeah,
and try anything, and everything helps. It's all about
yeah,
getting seen, and you just don't know how it goes, and it can be the stupidest thing that
yeah.
sets you off. And
But that's actually a comforting thought that it's so random because that also means if you don't get the support, you don't have to take it personally and you can
yeah,
move on.
exactly. Yeah,
So
that's a good point. Like, don't take it personally if the song doesn't get played or whatever. Yeah, you just might be unlucky or whatever. And then
yeah,
it's
or it
also
is a
if
shit song. Yeah,
yeah, could also be.
could
also if
also be,
then
but try again. Yeah,
if you get feedback from a big DJ and they say, "Oh, not for me," just reply like, "What do you mean, man?" Just go into it.
This is
which
amazing. What do you
second
mean?
doesn't do you don't like? And no, I mean,
This is
hey, sometimes I mean you have to pass on good shit as well. Sometimes people send me stuff and I think, wow, cool song, I like it. Are we gonna play it? No. Do I want to do something with it? No. I mean, there's so much to choose from. You have to be picky because your release schedule is really full. Your set is like you play mostly 1 hour, 1.5 hour. It's already crammed with a lot of your own shit.
Mm,
Then a few hits in there, and okay, the spots are really just limited.
marginal. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna be hard to stand out. But the best tip is just keep on trying and just try everything you're comfortable with, and a little bit over the edge that you're not comfortable with, but don't get naked. But
Uh,
that's also how Kim Kardashian got really famous and Paris Hilton also. So fuck it, all
Mm,
bets are off. Do
That's
whatever
what
you
they
please.
that's what they say, right? Like a sex tape is the best way to gain
Yeah, I think that's
attention.
also, yeah, that doesn't help you anymore. Or it got to be a really sick sex tape.
Yeah, and I kind of think you should already be kind of famous, as in a sex tape only matters if you already have a name.
I think it would help you a lot. Artist coaching. I know what you mean. That's so dirty, man.
Oh man, yeah. We
Hey,
haven't
we haven't
mentioned.
talked about OnlyFans for
Yeah,
quite a
I
while.
just
Hey,
I
this
just
is a
wanted to
good
say it.
bridge. Yeah.
It's been a while. How's your OnlyFans doing?
Not so great, man. Not so great.
That's so
No.
great. He has a debt because he pays too many accounts to view
Yeah.
the.
All my revenue I just reinvest in other people to get
No, you don't have revenue.
like
It's a cost.
inspiration.
It's a cost for
Yeah,
you.
it becomes a cost. No.
You're one of those
Hey!
simps that just pays
But I
accounts.
mean, OnlyFans is like the basics of it. Imagine yourself being an OnlyFans artist. How are you gonna promote it? I mean, there's so much of that kind of
Just
content anyways. How
No,
are
I
you
think
gonna stand out? It's
I th-
always the same.
I know. I know. I've seen this happen. It's very very smart what they do. I get girls in my For You feed, and it looks like they're available, like they're personally talking to you. This is so smart because
Oh, you
that makes
actually click
people.
on those things?
No, 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 never.
Yeah, you did.
Um, I
Yeah,
th-
you
th-
did.
this is the trick, and you see them do it. It's like they act like they're within reach of you, like they
Mm.
sleep with fans, or they say stuff like that, like, oh, I ran into this guy, and they have this story about how they met a guy on the street and slept with him, and that sparks like the fantasy of a lot of people who then are like, oh, if I subscribe, I can talk to her directly, and
let's
it's very smart,
let's
very smart.
take let's take OnlyFans as an example. What can we learn from that as an artist? As in, what kind of strategic things they do over there, we can kind of
Sh-
copy.
show your boobs. That's what we can. That always works. Not
Get
only,
naked.
but that's OnlyFans. You can't compare. I think
No, but there must be
OnlyFans.
like, as you mentioned, like the personal approach is somehow triggering. So
It's
maybe
tricking
there's something.
people. I think what's wrong about it is it's tricking people into thinking you like them, and that's what I would never ever want as a artist. I would never be like, um, like if I reply to a fan, it's really me. I'm genuinely interested. It's not just for the cloud or whatever. So it's like, yeah, I think
Here's
OnlyFans is tricking people.
Rentrey in the chat says, show something behind the scenes that you don't show publicly. And obviously, that shouldn't have to be something naked, but more
Shouldn't be
like your
your ass.
music. Yeah, but more like your music, or maybe personal pictures of your more, a
Your
little bit
ass.
more of your private of
Here,
your
look.
private
Hey,
life. Hey, there you go.
the kids, the train. My son was here last Monday. We didn't have anybody to look out for him. So it was go with dad
No,
to
no,
the
no. You
office
took
day.
you took him as content management because he became a piece of content.
Did he now?
It's a really
Oh no,
old
that's
video.
actually an old video, 4 years old. That's my
Uh,
daughter. Daughter.
oh, it's 4 years old.
Yeah. No,
Uh-huh.
and but yeah, it's cool to show some. I still have trouble with that, taking out my phone and show people what I do all day. But I gotta say, it's also pretty boring to me. And but yeah, what stuff behind the scenes that I never show, and what should I show?
You know,
Maybe you
the
were
stuff.
just here, Joey.
Yeah,
How
the
we
stuff
eat
we just
here.
had.
Yeah,
The stuff
yeah.
I just had lunch over at your place, and we had a talk. Like, that's the stuff people want to see, I guess, because
Yeah, to give people a
that's.
vision, we work here. There's another guy called Renzi works here behind me, and he was working with a girl called Brechtje. She did the vocals on Voices in My Head. She also performed at Tomorrowland. And then Joey came by, and we had lunch here all together with the four of us. Then we can talk, and it's just a nice environment, and I think also a free environment where you can be creative, and it's just nonsense, and we cook our eggs and make shakes and all the shit, and
But that, I guess, that's what people want to see. Like, how are you with your guards down, kind of.
yeah, that's that you don't want to show it. That's not something I'm gonna show. Good, not good. No,
How
but
long
it's
will it
just
take before you
yeah,
get canceled? Yeah, it's probably pretty quick.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Not even.
Uh,
No, no, but it's just it's all pretty normal, and yeah,
but I
I
guess
think people don't expect that, but yeah, for us here also, we have a pretty tight normal working schedule. We actually do 9 to 5s because I like it. I think it's good for a lot of persons to have just the regularity, the continuity of having a work day, and yeah, then you don't get into stuff like how do you say it? To put on your PlayStation or something or any thing.
Relaxing.
No, you just don't have anything from the outside that will
Distractions.
Distractions, yeah.
distractions. Yeah,
Yeah.
you just cut them out because you have those times. You're used to it, and that's the time you go to work and do your shit.
Mm.
And I actually like the 9 to 5s, and I see a lot of content being distributed that you don't do for 9 to 5, blah 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 blah, because it sounds really boring. Okay, maybe it is, but it's
I
good
love
for
nine
you.
to
And
fives. Boring is good
yeah,
I
in a
think
lot of
it's also
ways.
really good to not have distractions, especially at the time where you have to be creative, because that's the time where you're so easily you can do something else if you can't think of a melody. But that's the time where you just need to just push yourself to do it, to just keep on putting notes in the piano roll. I need a melody. Um, then that book comes back, The War of Art, from Joey.
I don't have my book
Good.
closet behind me.
It's a it's a good read. It's about that as well. It's like, hey, you put yourself in that spot. That's discipline. Yeah.
yeah.
True.
It's real easy. Also, I think also people you can relate going to the gym. It's real easy to say, "Hey, I'm done with this set. It's okay." No, if you want results, you got to push through. Do the extra effort. Get used to it, and
Yeah.
don't quit. And also that,
Embrace the pain.
yeah,
Always
and that
go. Just
going to
go.
the office always just no excuses. You just
Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
and that's it. Although I gotta say, today it's 30 degrees outside, and I'm gonna take some
But this
leave.
is yeah, but you can because you have this built this discipline that every once in a while you can say to yourself, "Fuck it, I'm heading out."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
true. One thing I want to close off with is ADE, because it's 2 months, not even 2 months away from us, and I'm receiving quite a few of messages of people like if we are planning something or if there's something being arranged. Yes, we are, and the program is not set yet, but the date is. So if you are planning to come over to Amsterdam this year, and if you are interested to coming by at our event, make sure to mark the Friday. That's the 18th, I believe. Let me double check.
of October.
October the 18th, yeah, from 12 o'clock in the afternoon till about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's when we're going to plan something. We're not quite sure what or how, but we'll get back to you about that. Just know that it's going to be organized. That's it for now, I guess.
I
Yeah,
want to
I
give a
guess.
big shout out to everybody who's listening,
Yep.
sending in questions. I always think that's it's really important to get the input, and I like to know what's on people's minds about in this whole business thing. So shout
We
out to you guys
we
and
had
girls.
48 live watchers.
Wow.
Holy
That's
shit!
pretty
Nice.
decent. Yeah.
Yeah,
Also, if you're listening now or watching, make sure to like, subscribe,
Good
review,
point.
give us some stars on whatever platform you're on. This really helps us.
Yeah.
This is really helps the podcast because yeah, then we reach more new people. Um yeah, and follow us so you get updated when the
yeah.
next
The
It's
next
cool
reels
to
are
have a
taking off.
community. You know, I
Yeah.
actually yeah, I
You
like
heard them
it.
clap, dude. Crazy.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
know.
The
They're for
applause.
real.
Yesterday,
They're
yesterday I
right
had a
here.
Q&A. I did a Q&A session in the community on Discord, and I really had a great time. I was just doing an evening stroll in the beautiful evening summer. I was walking outside for like an hour, and I was doing a Q&A at the same time. Very good, man. Like a lot of questions, people interacted with each other. I kind of see a lot of growth in there, so that's good to see.
Nice.
Yeah.
So thumbs up, and don't forget, like Jobke said, put all those stars, comments, thumbs up, all that shit,
Everything.
and it helps.
Perfect.
Yeah, you have to
Fly.
fly all the
Yeah, what
time. We're
what's
Yeah,
actually
Fly
it's
doing now?
for
super annoying. Super
Our
annoying.
guest,
He's on your head.
DJ Fly. Annoying.
Glorious. Annoying, yeah. Guys, see you next week. Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.